So in this video we'll be talking about the OS module. So basically we'll use OS module to communicate with the operating system. So in Python you can use other other modules to work with files and work with networks. Sometimes you need to get information from the operating system to know about the script or to perform specific actions. So we'll start with importing the module .os, and first I'll just show a simple function but which might look cool if you are new to Python, which is os.name. So os.name will give you the name of your current system, but as you can see when I execute it, it's just giving you an empty. And also some functions that I'll be showing you will not work in Windows, which functions, some functions are specifically for Linux. So if I'm trying to do something on Linux which will not work in Windows, don't panic, it just will not work. So if I say os.name over here, why am I typing anime? Yeah, name, which gives us POSIX. So these are different names because this is in Linux. The last command was here is in Windows, but as you might know, we are using Windows. Why it is giving us the POSIX or NT? Why doesn't it give us Windows or Linux? So for that you'll be using os.sys.platform. So platform will give you the current platform name. Here you will get Win32. Yeah, so here you can get Win32 if you are executing this in a Unix operating system. You will get platform, you'll get Linux. Yeah, so for I'm using Kali Linux and I'm getting Linux too. If you're using other flavors of Linux, you might get different values. So moving on to the next function, the sometimes, like if you are a beginner in Python and you are doing any project, you will be coming out this weird problem. You are not able to change the directory, like all your scripts has to be on a single folder. Like if you are making a script, your script should be in a folder and all the files it needed to work should be in the same folder. All the files you are creating from the script should be in the same folder. For these reasons we'll be using something called, sometimes you might be checking the internet and you will be known about os.system, which will be useful to execute system commands, which is the command terminal commands in your Windows or your Linux terminal commands. But when you change the directory with this the os.system, which will just change the instance of the your terminal than changing the instance of your Python environment. So for this we'll use something called os.change directory. So we don't want to print, okay, we'll just print it first. To get your current directory, you can say os.get cwd, which is get current working directory. As you can see, current working directory is in my user directory. So I'll just execute this first. You can see this is my current directory. So if I try to change it to my D drive, let's say change directory to D drive, and if I put this after changing the drive, you can see first it was current directory is my operating system, I mean the current user directory, and then we change to D colon, so we are created here. So anything after the change directory function, any file creation or any changes to the file system will happen on the D drive than in your executable your relative path. So these two functions for path, and there is another cool function for working with the paths called os. We'll just print it out. os.path dot join. So join function can be used to join two different paths. So if you are in Windows, you can see the location has been splitted with backslashes, but if you go to the Linux, you can see, like, let me go to a directory. No, we just exit out of Python. Okay, I'm an idiot. cd. I don't have anything on C. Okay, fine. So if you go to here, you can see this Linux you set /. So this can be a problem when you are using cross-platform scripts. So for this reason, you can use the join method to join two different paths. So let's say I have a folder in the test, a folder in D drive. So let's say d:/, and I wanna, let's say I wanna add the test with it. So if I try this function will return the path, which is just a string for the current operating system. So here you can see it just looks like it just concatenated two strings, but it does not. If you are using another files, let's say I am in Rutiksha, right? Let me just create a new directory. I want to create a test directory. So you have created yeah, we have created test directory. So let's say I want to go inside the test directory. You can just say chdir to the directory, because you are already in the Hartiksha directory. The execution will happen there. But let's say you are not in there. You can just say c:/ and users, which is path, and let's say your another path is Ritiksha slash okay, we don't want to use the slash, we'll just print it out. Here you can see c:/ is just as what we did, and here it used backslash. The magic is, if you use backslash in your program, it will be considered as a escape character, but when the host path that join does, it will work in any operating system. So if you execute this function in Linux, it will give you the Linux oriented path type, so that you will not get any Unicode escape character errors. So this is one cool thing you can do, and this will be useful in the project that I'm going to give you in the end of the video, which will be helpful in most of the program. If you download any Python scripts, you can most probably will see os.path.join, because it will work in both Windows and Linux. So there is another called os.listdir, and this will be a list. So we'll just say, we'll put it in a for loop. So os.listdir. So this will give you all the files under a specific directory. So if I say I wanna get all the information from the D drive, so if I say listen, you can see it gives us all the folders and files inside the D drive, and this will give us a list of files. So this, all these things will be a list of strings. So I used a for loop. So there is also another one thing. We'll just go with the os.sys path.exists. So exist will return true or false by checking whether a specific file is there or not. So we'll just check whether my D drive is there or not. So this will return true. It should return true. Yeah, my D drive is there. So here you can see I have C, D and E. So let's try to get the F directory, which it is not there, so it returns false. So this can be useful, like if you are making a script to back up all your files or some files when you turn on your computer, or sometimes when it's scheduled. You can use this, like if you are writing a file in a same backup directory, either it will overwrite it, or if you have used append mode, it will be writing every backup in a single file. So let's say your backup file should be each file separated by versions. So if in that case, you can use this exist function to check whether the file is already exist or not. If it is so, you can use the list dir to check how many files are there, and you can, using that, you can serialize or index your backup files. So this is one useful cases that I used when I learned this. So the os.environment will be able to access your environment variables. So if you're using Windows, just press the Windows key and go to edit environment variables. Just type env, you'll get the environment variables. So here you can see the click the environment. You can see you have two boxes called user environment and system environment. So everything will be given as a dictionary. So I can see you have keys as a variable and values as the value, and also in the environment variable in user. So if I try to get the path variable, you can say path over start environment path is just a dictionary, so we can use the square brackets to access keys. So we have got all the paths that I have created in the system directory. So let's say you are doing an automation program, but you don't want to expose your password. What you can do is you can go to the environment variables. You can set your own environment variables by clicking new and typing in your environment variable something, and this will create environment variables in your operating system. And in Linux you'll be creating the environment variables differently. I don't know how exactly to do that, so you can check that out in other variables. But if I try to get the environment variable, like we just have created a name, so I try environment and my key is name. So if I try that, I am getting SHA. So where I have created a variable in name. So like if you wanna create any password, you can just say YouTube password or Facebook password, and you can you can put the password over there, and you can use host.environment Facebook password. It will return the it will return the string from the environment variables. And in Linux, you will have a little bit different path. So let's get into Python. So in Linux, everything will be case sensitive fully, so everything should be in a capital. So this is my path variable. So if you are not sure what are the variables that I have in environment, you can just say environ. As it is a dictionary, you can just say keys to bring out all the keys that it has. So these are the keys. If you want values, you can just use it. If that's just a dictionary, you can do all the dictionary operations over there. So yeah, this is one thing. And if you want to create a new uh, environment variables, you can do that by put. So I'll just clear this. Yeah, so we can say put in. This is used to, you can also use get in to get specific values like path, and use this, or you can just use the dictionary kind of thing. But if you want to create new environments, you can say put env, and you can create let's say name. Why am I typing anime every time? Put end name. I think it needs another argument. Yes, takes second argument as the value, and I will say sha. So I successfully created the value. So let's get the current value, get the created value. So get env name, and I didn't get anything. Okay, we'll just try that thing. Just not nv wrong. Okay, there is a key error. I think this is maybe because of, I think I should need to restart the system. I think maybe because of that, because I don't have some kind of system, so that may be a problem. So moving on to the next thing, which is so we tried about change directory, right? Yeah. So another cool function which will return you the current user. So if you want, you can just get it from the current directory by using this, but let's say you are not in the user directory. So what you can do is, let's say os dot get login. This will give you the username of the current login user, which is Hrithik Shah, and you can use get PID to get the current login user ID, process ID. So this is a different. So in Linux it will be different. You can say os dot get login. I think I will get user, yeah, root. So we got root, and that is, we need to, yeah, we talked about list AR, right? But so in Windows you can do all these things, and if you wanna know other things about the OS module, you can go to the and just go to your browser and type OS Python. There are some functions and methods that will only work on Linux. Remember, as I said, so you can check that in the documentation over here. You will see availability. If it is says availability Unix, then it will only work on Linux operating system. If it doesn't give you any availability option, then it will work in every operating system. So now we'll just jump onto some Linux oriented informations, which is os.cterm id. Most probably you'll be using all these things, but I'm just showing you. This gives you the current uh, terminal id. And if I try to do the same thing on Windows, not which should not work because it is not for Windows, but if you are using id like me, you will be getting suggestions for the Linux methods too, because your id doesn't know what you are doing, so it will give you cterm id. But if you try to run it, you will get into error. See, OS module has no attribute cterm id, yeah, because it will not work in Windows. So it will not work. You don't have to worry about why it is not working, because it is meant for a Unix operating system, not for Windows. You can also get information about your system using host.name. It will give you the current operating system and your distribution and your latest version. This is your latest version, I guess, and your platform. So there's another version called get gid. So I'm going to use first get gid. So which gives us 0 because I am a root user, so I am going to be giving us a 0. If you are using different user, then you will get different information. And you have to know that get gid gives you the real user id. So if you want to get the effective user id, you can use get egid. This will be the effective user id. As I said, I am in root, so I will be getting 0 every time. So in your case you will be getting different thing. So that's all the OS module. So as I said, if you want to do a simple project in OS module, just make a simple file system, file explorer. Doesn't have to be GUI. Just get the path from, or get the folder name from the user, and check where the folder is and show the information about the folder. So in this project you might need to use a function called stat. os dot path dot stat. This will give you information about, it will give you the statistics of the folder, file. So if I just type, there's so many things. So I'll just show you the file, which will give you all the information about here. So st mode, I guess this is a permission, I guess. And what you want to show is the size of the file, and the c time is the creation time, and m time is the modified time. So you can use, these are Unix timestamps, so just check out how to use the Unix timestamp. And this will be in kilobytes, I think is size will be in kilobytes. So if you can make this, just put your code link in the comment, and I'll check your code. And you might also do something like code review, just like me. We will try to make code review. So I'll catch you guys in the next video.